Trent, the captain said on Steve Maudsley, it's unfinished business. How do you balance looking to the future as opposed to maybe dwelling on the unfortunate events of last year?
Yeah, no, it's a very good point. We've said we start 0-0 like every other team in the competition. Last year, in some ways, counts for nothing, but what it does give us, we think, is really good momentum, which will carry on into this season. So we had to wind back. Our last game was 10 months ago, so we had to wind the girls back because to start with, there was a lot of drive to really perform, and probably the first month after the season was over, some of the girls are training way too hard, but we've wound them back up again. So yeah, what that gives us is momentum, but like every other team, still zip and zip.
From the outside looking in, it looks like a really strong squad. What do you think the team can achieve this year?
Yeah, our primary focus is to make sure we get off to a good start and be in a position to challenge again at the business end. So first time we've had limited changes. I think we've had minimum of 9 changes in my first 2 years. This year we've only player turnover of 5, so we think it's a pretty settled squad this time. And the existing players have been teaching the new ones the game plan, and they'll be ready to go as well. So we think it's a well balanced squad with also an eye to the future because we're still quite a young list.
The team was playing so well last season. Did you have to make many changes in terms of just the style of play, or are you pretty happy with what you produced?
Overall, not too many changes. It's always been a plan to, as the girls' skills and fitness improve, to build towards, I'm not sure you can have a perfect style, but we're still building towards that. So we think there'll be a couple of minor changes, but what we do know is other sides will study what we did and come after us in that in those situations. So we've had to train to make it uncomfortable for the girls when that does happen. So we've done a bit of that this pre-season.
And yourself and North Melbourne are the teams to beat again this year, according to the markers. What's that like?
Yeah, well, we're happy to be considered one of the teams to beat for sure. We definitely prefer it that way than no one sort of thought we were around the place. But there's quite a few teams who are very difficult to beat. Last year there were so many close games that could have gone either way, and the results could have been different on those tables. North Melbourne and ourselves could have easily not finished 1-2. So we're aware there's a lot of good teams out there, so we'll be ready for all of them.
Your tackling and intensity, Trent, was at such a high level last year. How do you go about improving that to stay ahead of the competition?
Yeah, it's we do a lot of work on our tackling and our technique with Wade Spilker, who's operations, but that's his specialty. So he does a lot of work with that, with our playing group, to make sure that we look after ourselves when we tackle and the opponents, and also look after ourselves when we're tackled. Technique's part of it, but overall, it's will and desire. And Kiara Bowers leads that for us. She's next level with her tackling, and it's great when your best player does that because then everyone else jumps on board. Gemma next to me is the #1 pressure forward in the competition, and she's a key forward. So it goes through our whole team now, which, as a coach, makes it a lot easier if I don't have to ask for that each week.
Is that the area that you think opponents are going to try and improve and come after you?
Oh, definitely. I think the pressure sides will definitely be looking to ramp that up, but I think sides will try to get numbers back against us to clog up our forward line, to maybe try to dull our speed a bit. But that's what we've trained for over the summer.
Trent, do you want to see the players play with a bit of a chip on their shoulder, given how last season panned out?
Not really. No, I don't know that mindset is really beneficial. I think we've got a really resilient group who've had to take on quite a few challenges in all different areas of their lives. I don't think the chip on their shoulder is anything that they'll really play with. They just want to get going and start again and fly into it.
You've got some very impressive talent from regional WA, Roxy Roo from Dongborough and O'Driscoll from Northern. What's that like, and how do you hope they'll go this season? Yeah,
they're two great ones. Coached both the girls in the under-18s, and they've had to sacrifice a lot with their travel and to get to this point, and probably not so much them but their parents, driving them long ways to get to training, even different stages. But both great girls, both really big personalities around the club. Roxy's a bit more of an introvert off the field, but you wouldn't guess that watching her on the field. And Emma is extroverted all the time. We haven't not too many gaps when you're trying to talk to Emma, that's for sure. So they'll both play big parts for us at either end of the ground, and looking forward to their years coming up.
Gemma, Trent's playing down the unfinished business, but as a player, considering how last season finished, is there a fire in the belly to make that decide?
I think every season we go in with fire in our belly to make sure we perform and do well together as a team. We know obviously last season was out of our control, but what we can control is going into this season. We know round 1 is going to be this Sunday, and I think we've prepared well and we've got a tight group and ready to go.
What was it like for you last season? You just beat Gold Coast by 70 points, and then a few days later you're told season's over. Can you talk us through the emotions that you and the rest of the group went through?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a raw emotion, but I think not long after that we were quick to realise it was a lot bigger than football. Obviously going into lockdown and realising the stuff around us is a lot more important. So I think it's given us a lot of time to reflect on that and get certain priorities in order, and I think that makes us go into every game take it a bit more, not for granted, because we don't know what it looks like for us.
And Trent mentioned he had to pull a few of the girls back. They were training too hard. Was that something as you as a player experienced as well?
Yeah, I think.
Carrying that emotion.
Yeah, I think we weren't sure if there was going to be any games further. So I think when you got players like Kiara Bowers and Cara, they just constantly want to train and want to get better. Not just individually but as a group, and I think that was all in the back of our mind to keep preparing well.
Gemma, your coach touched on it earlier, but just that sort of weight of expectation of being one of the teams to beat, how's the playing group sort of responding to that?
Yeah, I think, we go into every game, as Trent mentioned, with that 0-0 mindset. We know that we're going to come up against quality sides, and we just know that we've done the work. We've had a solid pre-season, and we've come out the end of it with good sort of actions, and we just want to get ready for round 1.
Hey Trent, just a quick one. Just in the Bark, obviously going through the horror few months, etc. Every Giants game is going to be some sort of tribute to her. Can you explain what might happen this weekend, and obviously the perils of playing footy, with concussions, etc. This is obviously another incident like that.
So we're going to have a minute's silence before the game on the weekend. There's a memo out with exactly what we're doing that's gone across to all clubs, which I'm not fully across at this stage, but there's definitely going to be a moment's silence before the start of the game, and both teams will line up to commemorate Jacinda, who's a West Australian girl as well. So, yeah, sad moment, and obviously sad for the whole AFLW community. So, with that, I'm not sure the connection with the concussion.
I was just looking more the injuries in general, and this is obviously a next level.
Yeah, and then we've seen that a bit's come out recently with the tuck thing with the concussions, and I think we're going to find out a few more protocols around concussion, and there will be even more care for the players. And as a footy club, we think we've got a real duty to teach the players technique. The amount of concussions in the AFLW, I know from our point of view, has gone down significantly over the 4 years, because we think the girls are getting better at protecting themselves. And someone like Sarah Veria, who's only slight, but she's been playing footy from Auskick all the way through. She's our first one, and she tackles really well, and she also protects herself with really good technique. So that's a credit to the junior pathway coming through, and we hope that the more of those that we see coming through, the less concussions that do occur.
And one more question, and then we'll put Daniel and Emma on.
Fremantle Oval's been a fortress since 2018. Is there, from both of you, pressure to keep that winning record there?
It's not a pressure, it's just a joy playing there. And we had the smoking ceremony there a few days ago. Gemma would like to talk about that and what the Oval does mean to us.
Yeah, the smoking ceremony was incredible. We opened it up to some of our members to come down and to share that moment with them. It just shows that the game of football is a lot bigger than just the game. It's family, and to see our home crowd, hopefully, I think the last 2 games we played without a crowd, so hopefully to get some of our Purple Army down there and help us with our games is going to be really exciting.